Welcome for the Power BI training. Now that is your course description, as you can see here. So we'll be working with the home and file and home menus. We'll be learning to import and export files, get data from different sources, open and save the options and settings, working with report views, assigning fields on Canvas, building visualizations, formatting the report page. So it is going to be quite project-centric approach, although we'll be understanding the various features too. But it is going to be a kind of examples and project-centric approach. I have taken at least two examples. One example is there, and the second example also I have added data set of which. Okay, we have only one example here for now, but I'll take a second example also for you. Right, let's quickly start. We can't be waiting too long. Right, let's launch the software first quickly. Again, for people who just walked in, these are the course contents that are to be covered. As you can see, we'll be importing and exporting files, and then will be followed by getting data from different sources. This is something that I've showed you. We also open and save the reports. We are also, I also showed you all the options and settings, which was part of the introduction to menus, GUIs, and toolbars. We'll work with the report views. We'll be generating some reports, and we'll also be assigning fields on the canvas, which is something that is going to happen as we work on reports. We'll be building visualizations, formatting the report page as well. It's going to be an interesting session. Let us quickly import the file or the example that we have. Let us open all these fields here. Before that, let us again visit the menus for your easier and quicker understanding. We'll be working towards importing and exporting the menus. We'll be working towards getting the data and how do you import the data, all the different types of data sources that you can work with. That is something that we should play as well. Opening the report, save as options and settings. Out here, when you go on options, there's a long list of options that will come up over here, and then you can decide on what all settings we are going to work upon. There's a Power Query Editor, Direct Query Editor. So this is also something we'll look into. Right, so now that the software is launched, let us quickly import our file. Okay, let's click on import. We'll not import from Excel. We are putting another file which is of CSV format. I'm clicking here on the home menu. I click on Get Data. Scroll down here on Text or CSV menu, as you can see, and click on that. I'll go on the desktop, live sessions, Power BI, day 2. Now that is the data file that we have. That's the energy data file that we have. So I'll select that file. Now you can read here that's in the text or CSV file format or .prm format. And why is it showing that? Because that's the file we chose. That's the file we've selected to import. I click open. You can see it's establishing the connection. Now then this is the data set that we have. The row labels, what do we have here under the row labels? And we have the names of the different countries. Data in the preview has been truncated to the size limits. Of course, that will happen because it's a preview. In the preview, it will not show you everything, although it's based on first 200 rows. If you click on based on entire data set, preview is evaluating, right? So now that is what we have all until the that is still Zambia. Well, I think that if you all enroll or if you all subscribe to this, then you all will have the data sets also. Should be shared. But yes, of course, you all have to take a subscription for this course. And alternatively, you all can also download the data sets online from different data sources that you all want. That's VPN Sun. Yes, we can see that we have loaded the entire data set. Out here, this is data type detection is based on the entire data set. Out here, we can see, right, now let's load. So I click load. So once I load this data set, worksheet will appear here on the fields, this field screen, and you can see it's loading. You're applying changes, discard changes. No, we don't want to do anything. Let the file load. You can see here there are 166 rows working on it, and yes, we have the data file connected out here. Fine, so now let us draw. We'll create a visualization. As we can see here, we already imported the file. We also got the data. We like to open and save the reports, but we're not yet created any reports. We are not saving it. Let us go to this. Yeah, on day 2. I have prepared a small presentation for you so that you all can understand what is going to happen. Clicking on the energy data comparison. That's the slide that we have. So what do I intend to do? I intend to create an energy data comparison between the renewables and the non-renewables. So in the data set that we've taken, we have the different data pertaining to the energy sources, which are renewable energy sources and non-renewable energy sources. So when I say renewables, what does that mean? It means wind, solar, hydro. Hydro is water, nuclear. Now again, we can call nuclear a renewable energies. The source or the materials that goes into that is not renewable. Uranium, plutonium, thorium, you cannot recreate it. I mean, there are, of course, nuclear reactors which do all that, but I'm not going to go into the physics of that. The point again is we intend to study the electricity generation of renewables versus non-renewables. So when I speak of non-renewables, what does it mean? When I say fossils, it can be coal, it can be crude oil, it can also be gas. And non-renewables, what more do we have? Yeah, so these are the prominent fossil fuels or non-renewable fuels that we have. Typically, I intend to create a report that studies the comparison and which conducts a comparative study on the electricity generations. Right, so that's your canvas as we had discussed. That's your reports mode, that's your data mode, that's your model mode. Out here we can see the energy data that's provided here. If you want, you can make it invisible. You can also refresh the data. You can manage aggregation, select columns. Now, these are the additional features that will come up as you work across different features. Sub features will always come up. Sub features will also come up. So anyway, let's go on the reports mode. I'm selecting renewables first. So of these, which of these is renewable that you see? Biofuel is not, coal is not, fossil is not, gas is not, hydroelectricity is. So I'm selecting that. Then followed by that, we also nuclear electricity. Okay, let's keep it debatable. Renewables, electricity. Okay, we'll come to that later. Solar and wind. Now, these are the 3 sources I've taken. Let us also add renewables, electricity, and nuclear electricity. These are the 5 different sources that, and let us go into the focus. So if I take this in the focus mode, there is one thing missing. Though we have not taken anything on the y-axis, but it's okay. I'll come on that a little later. So I'll minimize these visualizations, fields, and filters. And so fine, what do we see here? We see here hydroelectricity that's generated, that is denoted by this color, and these are the different colors that will identify it. If you come here, it will show you this figure 192,868. Now, what is that? That is the summation. Summation of what? Of all the sources that generate nuclear, of all the countries that use nuclear electricity, the total count in terms of gigawatts or megawatts, perhaps. So fine, let's click on fields again. Click on visualizations and also on the filters. We have this data, this is the consolidated data of all the countries that are there. Now, out here we have row labels. So I'm going to select row labels also. Right now, after selecting row labels, what do we see? The details have changed. Okay, out here we are reading the names of the different countries, and here there is world that is mentioned, right? And let's go into again the focus mode, which we already are in. So you can see here that for the entire world, the figure is quite high, as we see here. But if we get rid of that, then we'll come to know what is, how much is each country consuming. So let us do one thing. Let us get rid of this world data that we have here from our data set. So I'm clicking here on the data set. I have to scroll down here, and there is the world. Now this is the world data. Okay, when you add up all these values, all the biofuel electricity values, when added up, they give us a 7816. Likewise, when you add up all the coal values, coal electricity values, it gives us this value. So we can see here that this world value that we have here, it's a bit tricky. So we would like to delete it. So we can delete it. If I want to delete the row labels, yes, not that. Control Z. That's a bit of a blooper. We didn't want to delete that as a row, but deleted that icon. Okay, let's close this. We'll have to import the entire data again. Fine, let's come back to the home page. I'll close this file. Yeah, report. Fix this. Yes, we have to fix this. Delete from the model. Okay, fine. We are going to get the data afresh. That was a text or a CSV file format. Let's click connect.